You will never ever want to buy cheap AliExpress or Temu jewellery ever again when you see what beautiful vintage brooches that I buy. Yes, I'm a collector. I've been collecting for 5 years and I love vintage jewellery, and if you haven't already got the vintage bug, you soon will do so, and I'm going to teach the difference between cheap AliExpress jewellery to pure beautiful vintage goodness like these. Absolutely amazing, and the best part is they can be all yours. So if you really want to know the difference between the two and get the vintage bug like me and thousands of others around the world, keep on watching this video and you will definitely be hooked on vintage jewellery. So let's get this vintage jewellery haul started, and let's see why I buy vintage jewellery versus AliExpress jewellery or Temu jewellery. I'd much rather vintage because the quality is so much better. Let's start by showing the quality of these beautiful vintage brooches. This one right here is Elizabeth Reimer, also known as Arkansas, and the quality of this one is absolutely beautiful. And we turn it over and we've got a lovely roll over clasp. And also check out the beautiful mean glow stones in there, absolutely beautiful, very special piece. And the vintage ones are also much more better in structure all around as well. So that's the Elizabeth Reimer one, a lovely beauty, and not only are they collectible, they will be in future years to come, as against that are mass produced. You can pick up for a couple of dollars and the quality is not there and they'll never have any value. So there is quite a few reasons why vintage is so much better than cheap modern jewellery, and also they have stories to it, and it's even better. Here's another one that I'm showcasing in my next video as well. I just want to show you the example of this beautiful waterfall crystal brooch. Beautiful AB crystals in there, a lovely vintage piece. We can see the beautiful dangle in there, all the beautiful dangles and the beautiful glow in that, and that's the back of it. And once again it has a working rollover clasp and it's soldered in. It's really beautiful, love it, love this one, such good quality. And then we have a lovely Australian designer called Donald Simpson, and he had most beautiful vintage jewellery, really beautiful designer. This one is currently for sale, as are those two as well, and they can be yours. And just, if you wish to jump over to my Brooch Queens group, the listing is below in description. And this one is actually stamped Donald Simpson. Now he's a very sought after designer and many people are collecting his beautiful jewellery, and has so many different designs. Absolutely beautiful. So that's the difference between cheap jewellery from AliExpress and Temu and places like that versus vintage. And even in this example of this brooch here, see how it's all claw set in? So we can see all the beautiful claws that are holding the brooches in, and you don't get that in today's jewellery, or I'm yet to see one. Now if I could, I would show you a modern brooch, but I don't collect them, I won't touch them, I won't buy them, because vintage is the way to go. And I am a collector, I'm a buyer and a reseller as well, and I've been doing this for 5 years. Now, even though I don't have any modern brooches on hand myself, I did get hold of some photos of some. So this is a good example of a modern brooch, and we can just see how, even though it's nice enough, it's just the quality is not quite right there. And also they're just sort of stuck on and they're not even claw set in. So that's one tip about the modern brooches, the big difference. And you can only pick these up for $1 or $2, so that shows the value you'll never appreciate. And here's another one, the owl, and once again they're just glued in, nothing really wonderful about that. And here also is another tip. Firstly, the colours in this brooch. While the vintage brooches do have colourful stones inset in, the modern ones are just too artificial. You just tell the difference after a while, the difference between the vintage coloured stones as against the modern. They're just too far-fetched, I guess, is the best way I can explain it. And once again, the stones are just set in with glue. There's no claws on them holding them in beautifully. And now I'll give you an example of a modern clasp pin to look out for, so you don't get tricked into buying vintage when people are saying this is a vintage brooch when they're not. See that clasp at the very top and how it's got a wide bend to it, almost like a C clasp, or C style, but very wide, and it's just a very, very modern piece, and I'll point that out in the next clip. So now you'll always be able to identify modern brooches as against vintage brooches. It's just this easy identification mark. So I hope that's proved helpful, and you can see just by the previous photos how beautiful vintage brooches really are. And if we go a little bit more in depth of the vintage brooches and the styles of the clasp back then, the trombone clasps on brooches were very popular, and that's from the late 19th century, roughly 1890 to the mid 20th century. So a beautiful old style clasp, a true difference to today's modern brooches. Now the following two brooches have the old C clasp, and they were from the late 19th and early 20th centuries, and again the Victorian area, and commonly used from 1850s to the 1910s, so that's really interesting as well. Also the pins themselves can give an indication of the age as well. And then lastly we're touching on the rollover clasps, and they became common on brooches from the 1920s and 1930s, and are really pretty much used up till today, until the modern brooches on the AliExpress and that start designing their brooches. So there we see the difference. I've also got a packet here, a parcel that came in the mail that I have not opened yet. It's all sealed up. I'll get the knife out to open it in a minute. I've had this one several weeks, saving it for this video, and this one actually came from an auction house. So together, let's see what goodies lay within. I do have my important tools here, the acid test for gold and for silver, and my stone that goes with it. I have also got my presidium, and that can tell me what beautiful stones or diamonds that might come our way. I'm still waiting for diamonds in all the 5 years I've been doing it. Anyway, let's get to this parcel and see what goodies, what treasures lay within. So just getting the knife into it. And now I've got more stick tape to get through. Alright, what I might do is actually get all these pieces out. And as you can see, I have not even looked into these before, see what they are. So it's a true unboxing, and the mystery is mine as well as yours. So we finally got to the unpacking, and it's only a small amount, but as I said, it's vintage, or should be vintage, and I took my chances that it was. So let's see together what beauties lay within. Alright, so this is definitely a vintage brooch. Gold tone, not in the best condition just there, that's for sure. The beads either have worn away or, yeah, there's tarnish. So it looks like these were supposedly faux pearls, so unfortunately that has worn away, so it's not the best condition. So that's one brooch, and then we have this mother brooch, mother boomerang brooch, and hopefully this should have a C clasp. And it does, see, you can just tell by the look of it sometimes when it has a C clasp or not, and that's a really good indication right there that a lovely vintage piece. So that's nice for starters, and I don't think that is gold, but I do test everything these days because it's easy to miss sometimes. So it's a lovely mother brooch, And some people just collect mother brooches only. If you haven't joined the vintage brooch collecting world yet, you'll soon get addicted and have the vintage bug like me and thousands of people around the world do. Alright, so now we have a pair of clip-on earrings, and wow, do I have lots of clip-on earrings and screw-on earrings from times gone by. This one looks like, is it got a couple of stones missing in there? Yes, it has got one or two, but they can easily be repaired by dropping in new rhinestones to bring them back to life. Now, earrings are not my forte as such. Brooches have my heart, and that's why I try to focus mainly on brooches, beautiful vintage brooches. This one's pretty. We've got a bunch of grapes, so that's nice. And I didn't actually bring my UV torch upstairs to check and see if that's uranium, which you might do that shortly. But you can even see by the surrounds holding those stones in the quality of that as against the cheaper versions of modern jewellery that we get today. So that's a lovely brooch, and once again it has a C-style clasp, not quite as old as the other one, but a lovely C-style clasp anyway. So that's showing age, so that's beautiful, really nice. And then, so this one's actually a pendant, and it's mother of pearl shell, so that's nice. You know what that says? It says Daphne. That's the way it goes. So Daphne. So it's okay. It's okay. Alrighty. Oh, this is nice. We've got a lovely necklace. Once again, a stone or three or four or five missing, but that's easy to fix. So just move that away for a tick and see if we can get that on the table. And I thought it might have been marcasite, but it's not. But definitely needs some work, and we can see that is vintage because of the spring ring as against the modern lobster clasp of today. So a lovely 50s, 60s piece that needs some work. Here's a lovely watch, an old gold toned watch, and many of these old vintage watches do have gold content on them, and we shall test that shortly. I'll do a test with you to see if there is any gold in there. So it's a lovely vintage watch. And what do we have on the back there? I can't quite work out what that says. I need to have my loop here. So that's a lovely old watch, and as I said, we'll test that. And some of the old watches have diamonds in it, but once again I'm waiting to come across a diamond, a beautiful diamond ring. That's what I'd love. And we've got another watch, so we'll do the same with this one. That's an old, it looks like even older. Look at the beautiful dial face shape on that one. That's beautiful, love that. That's nice. So we'll test the gold here, we'll test the gold here, and if I can I'll try to open the back, and even the inners, inside parts would possibly have gold as well. And we'll see if that's still winding. It is, so that's good, still working. So we've got two watches, another mother. We've got three mothers, have we? Mother with mother of pearl. Brooch, that's old. Just imagine who used to own these, who wore them, the history behind them all, stories they told. Absolutely beautiful. And I see something shining out to me, and I'm quite excited about that one, so we're going to leave that one to last. Here we've got a copper ring of some kind with engravings on it. So once again, nothing really exciting. Yeah, that's copper, so nothing much there. Oh, look at this. Now, what is this? Oh, okay, City of Blue Mountains. Nothing exciting, but interesting that it has a date on there, 30th of the 9th, 1971, and it's got a number underneath, 2853, so maybe that was a token or something. This looks like it's going to be gold, I thought it was going to be a brooch, but it's completely broken, so that's a bit disappointing. The auction house didn't make that clear that it was actually broken, and they should have done. They should have disclosed it to me. It's got seed pearls in there. I'd say they're real, lovely little seed pearls, and we're going to test this stone in the middle to see if that's anything, and we're going to test that for gold and see if we come up trumps. So we might do that now. I'll turn my Presidium on, have that ready to go, and in the meantime we might do some testing. So the way I do my testing, as everyone else does, is by getting the edge of it. I might actually focus on the end so I don't do any damage, and I'm going to give that a scratch test and see if we have gold. And just by the look of it, I'm thinking it is. That's a pretty good gold test, or gold scratch. It's coming off nicely, and we're also going to try it at the end. So we double test this beauty, and in the meantime, before we do that, we'll test it on the Presidium, and I'll try to put the Presidium so you can see it. We want that to jump up, and if it stays there, we know the stone is a simple glass, and if it jumps right up, we know we're onto something good. So let's do it. So I'm going to point the nib on here and see how the arrow is jumping up there. So we have a true or a real gemstone, and it's actually also claw set in around here. So we'll just do that again. So it's coming up as tourmaline. So I'm hoping you can see that clearly on there, that's jumping up to there. Yeah, so you can see that, it's showing more clearly. We're definitely not fading away. If it had faded away, it would be doing so by now. So I'm just shining a torch on there so you can even get a better idea of the gold content that's staying in there. So that's a good thing. We've got gold. We've got gold. So that's good. That's really good for my scrap pile. A couple of grams there at least. And then we'll see what else we can test here. We'll do this one here. The mother boomerang brooch. Now with vintage jewellery hunting or vintage brooch collecting, you don't always come up trumps, but most of the cases you do find absolutely beautiful stuff, as I did in these beautiful cases there. They were part of a deceased estate, absolutely amazing. This was from the auction house. So once again you can see there that it is not gold. Just see if there's anything else. We'll test this one. We won't test that, but we will test it for UV light. Okay, alright, let's do these watches. We'll start with this one. Give it a good scratch there. So we've got that part of it. And I think usually the gold is around here and on the inside, so we will test both. Okay, so we've got a good scratch there. Leave that one there, and we'll see if we have any gold. And just because we might not have any gold on the outside, we might have some on the inside. So let's see if we've got anything here. And once again, that's faded away. See how that fades away? Completely. It's just eating all that gold up. So that's a negative so far. If you are testing stuff with gold, be careful of the acid because it can do damage, and it has done damage to me on this fingernail in the past. Completely destroyed the whole fingernail, and I'm still having struggles with it. Okay, we've got the other watch. It's pretty. I really like this one. It looks extra old and extra special. I've got quite a few watches and quite a few market site ones as well. So once again, we'll test the side of it. Watch face there on the edge. And we'll test underneath here as well. Some more gold would be awesome. Okay. The watch face itself is holding, not so much the band. Do you see that? There, I actually might have real gold because it's still holding, so I might be on a winner on that one as well. Now, there's no way you get that in modern AliExpress jewellery. In fact, recently I came across a ring and it was stamped 18 karat gold, and it had like a diamond on the end, or supposed diamond, but it felt too light, and I thought, I bet you anything this is not real gold. Well, no longer had I started scratching it, the whole thing had peeled back, literally, and showed the black surface underneath. I'll have to dig it out sometime and show you another video. And not only that, it actually crumbled in my hand, so it was completely fake. Anyway, I'll just get 2 more beautiful, or 3 more beautiful vintage brooches to show you the beautiful quality of it. But so far I'm happy because it's still holding gold. We have 2 gold items to add to my gold stash. So it's this one and this one. So that's really, really awesome. And I can get some good monetary value there alone, even if it means destroying what was old. We'll sell that one as scrap. So bear with me and I'll get a couple more brooches to show and tell. What I'm actually doing is delving into another packet that I haven't actually opened yet as well, and I'm going to take 3 items out of this and save the rest for another video. These are pretty cool. So I'm just going to take potluck and see what comes out of this lot. Okay, that's a 3. That's a 3 I'm going to get out today. Alright, we're going to start with this darling. And this is why I actually love vintage brooches so much. The versatility and the beautiful style, they just vary so much. And here we have lovely twin Scotty brooches, absolutely adorable. Even got a lead between them, so you can wear this one together. Now this one's definitely vintage. It's got the old vintage clasp there as well, and it's made of some kind of plastic. I don't think it's Bakelite, but yeah, very lovely old piece. I love this one. Isn't that gorgeous? And I have Scotty brooch collectors that would love this, so I might list this one on my group, and I'm sure it's going to pretty much get picked up straight away, even though I really would actually love to keep this one. Isn't that adorable? Absolutely beautiful. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So that's that. And then we have this lovely Scotty brooch. That's a lovely gold tone one. 2 dogs. That's beautiful. Not stamped. It's got a working rollover clasp. So that's lovely. And we have one more lovely silver toned twin Scotty dog brooch with collars on, and it's got a rollover clasp just there. So that's lovely. I'm not sure what your favourites were today, but having seen that, it's absolutely beautiful. I really love it, and I really love the fact that I have indeedy got real gold. And there's no way you can get anything beautiful like this in modern brooches or jewellery. I mean, you can get beautiful, but to me, nothing beats vintage. If you want to get your hands on the good stuff, you know what to do. Jump below in description and come and join me. And all this beautiful vintage goodness can be yours. Who needs cheap AliExpress or Temu jewellery when you've got beautiful quality like this that's going to go up in price in years to come. And if you want to see my big haul from my deceased estate lot that I got, it's taken 4 episodes, and then another one not quite to do with vintage jewelry but still very vintage and beautiful things that I'll be showcasing in future. Please keep watching, because there's going to be many more beautifuls yet to come. And also, why not watch a video on the right that's coming up as well, so you don't miss out on part 3 and part 2 or part 1 and all the other videos I've got as well. Anyway, we'll catch you next time, and stay safe. See you soon. Bye.